Shalom, shalom. The foremost, I want to start out by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yoshai, Ba'Shem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles for the edification and knowledge. And the Wadi Al Ba'Shem Yoshai for putting the spirit of the elders and apostles so we become edified, regarding, knowing, learning, knowing this truth and knowledge. Call Holy Yah Ba'Shem Yoshai, Ba'Shem Rakakadash. Give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yoshai, Ba'Shem Rakakadash. A few verses relating to wisdom. Go to James 1 and 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh, that giveth to all men liberally, freely, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given to him. So upbraideth means pretty much not find fault with or censure. So and that's this wisdom and knowledge so the Lord gives. Scripture talks about you ask not because you have not because you ask not. So James 3 and 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, man. And this is truth and knowledge. Then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality, without hypocrisy. That's his truth and knowledge, man. Purity. Proverbs 3:18. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. It's just truth and knowledge. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. And that's this truth and knowledge. This truth and knowledge represents Sophia, man. It represents a woman, man. A very high priceless commodity, man. So she's more precious than gold, more precious than silver, man. She's more precious than rubies. 15. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou cannot desire are not to be compared unto her. The length of days is in her right hand, and her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are the ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is the tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is everyone that retaineth her. So that your goal is to seek the wisdom and knowledge of Sophia. That represents the truth and knowledge, man. That's a woman, man. So you want to retain her, and she's the tree of life, man. This knowledge is the tree of life, man, because anything opposite of that is death. Ephesians 5:15. See, then ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. So being circumspect, paying attention to what's going on around you, paying attention to what's going on in society, man. Be wise, man. Be alert, be sober, be awake, man. Circumspect is something to analyze in a circular motion, all around, circular, 360-degree circle. So you want to be circumspect as wise, man, because redeeming the times, because the days are evil. The days are evil, man. The times that we're in are very perilous and bad times, going to those relating to evil. Wherefore, be ye not unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is, man. So having that prudence and wisdom comes from being circumspect. Proverbs 12 and 15. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. That relates to his own wisdom and understanding. But he that hearkeneth to the counsel is wise. His counsel is this truth, man. So one who hearkens to the counsel is wise, man. Proverbs 3, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, lean not to thy own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, he shall direct thy path. Be not wise in thy own eyes, fear the Lord, and depart from evil. That's Proverbs 3, 5, and 7. Proverbs 10 and 23. It is a sport to a fool to do mischief. So it's a sport, it's a game to the wicked, man, which is a fool, man, to do mischief, man. So it's a game, it's a sport, it's something, entertainment. But a man of understanding have wisdom, and that's the truth and knowledge, man. that prudence and wisdom, man. So that's that understanding. That's relating to this truth and knowledge. Proverbs 18:15. The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge. The heart of the prudent is a man of wisdom and understanding. And the ear of a wise seeketh knowledge. So he's going to seek. A prudent man is going to seeketh the knowledge and get it, man. Proverbs 19:20. Hear counsel and receive instructions, that thou may be wise in thy latter end. We're in the latter end right now. So that counsel is the truth and knowledge, receiving the instructions of it, so you may be wise in the latter times, which are now. Proverbs 17:27 and 28. He that hath knowledge spareth his words. So he's going to be wise with his words, man. He's going to use very little words. And a man of understanding is of excellent spirit. 28 makes the point. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. So when a fool doesn't display the characteristics, the foolish characteristics, optically he can seem wise. So he be counted as wise if he holds his tongue, holds his peace. And he that shutteth his lips is esteemed of a man of understanding. So, and that relates to controlling that tongue, man. What you say, how you say it, the manner you say it, the tone you say it, where you say it, etc., man. Holding that peace, man. There's a time and place for everything, as Ecclesiastes. So it's a time to speak and there's also a time not to, man. So having that wisdom relating to and the control of that tongue, man, the discipline of the tongue. So even a fool, if he holdeth his peace, will be counted wise and spareth his words. So he be counted wise. So that's Proverbs 17:27 and 28. Colossians 3:16. Let the words of Hamashiach Yahushua dwell in you richly, in all wisdom, teaching, admonishing one another in psalms and hymns, spiritual songs, singing with grace in your heart to the Lord. So that's this wisdom and knowledge, man. The spirit of this wisdom and knowledge dwell in you. Admonishing, teaching, correcting, rebuking. Luke 21:15. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And that's the spirit that the Lord is going to put in you. Scripture talks about you don't worry about what you're going to say, man, because the Lord is going to have a certain spirit on you to speak and say certain things, even when that the adversaries will not be able to gainsay or resist, man. And that's the spirit that will be related to the wisdom and knowledge that will be put upon you, man. Let's go to Proverbs 1. Proverbs 1, to receive instruction, wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to a young man knowledge and discretion. 5, a wise man will hear, he will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain into wise counsel. And this is truth and knowledge, man. To understand a proverb and interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. The dark sayings is just truth and knowledge because it's full of mysteries. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. So fools are going to despise the wisdom and instruction. So the beginning of fear and knowledge, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom and knowledge. And part of that beginning is humility, man, too, as well. Let's go on down. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the street. That's truth and knowledge. It's being cried out, man, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yeshua and the prophets. She crieth in the chief places of the concourse, in the openings of the gates, the highways and byways, the chief ports and entries of the city. And she uttered her voice, saying, how long ye simple ones will love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. So the truth is speaking out to the foolish, man. So how long will you love the simplicity and the ways of captivity, man, of the drawing waters, man? Turn you at my reproof, behold, I will pour out my spirit into you, and I will make known my words unto you. That's just the truth and knowledge, the spirit of this truth and knowledge being put to know, and that's specifically on the prophet speaking this knowledge, man, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yeshua. Because I have called, ye refuse, I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock you when your fear cometh. So it talks about 2/3 that are rejecting this truth and knowledge, man. So when the stuff hits the fan, the Lord's going to laugh and mock at them, at their calamities, man, when it comes upon them. When your fear cometh as desolation and destruction, cometh as a whirlwind, the whirlwind's going to come fast. When distresses and anguish come upon you, 28, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. So they're going to call on you when the stuff hits the fan. Because right now, it's not convenient for the call on the Lord, because everything's somewhat okay right now, optically, you know. But that can change, man. So, and that's when they're going to call on the Yahweh Shem Yeshua, but the Lord is not going to hear them, man. Scripture said, go pray to your other gods, let them save you, man. Number 29, for that they hate knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord. So they hate knowledge. Scripture in 2 Ezra 9 talks about instead of taking heed relating to the liberty and grace period, instead of taking heed to it, they despised it, man. And of course, the consequence would be death by pain. That would be the consequence. More are going to perish than be saved. A wave is greater than the drought. That's ratio. More going to perish than be saved. They're going to know it by death by pain. That's going to be the consequence. They would none of my counsel. They despise all my reproof. That's the correction. And that goes to the prophets speaking, man. So they despise the correction of the prophets, man. Therefore shall they eat the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. So the Lord's going to give them over to their own vile affections, their own devices. And that's going to be a snare to them. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. That's the wicked. For whosoever hearken unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from the fear of evil. So ones who hearken and heed to it will be dwell safely among Yahweh Shem Yeshua. You know, dwell safely among from the fear of evil. So that's that hedge, that protection, that refuge, man. Let me go to Ecclesiastes 9 and 16. Ecclesiastes 9 and 16. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength, Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. And that relates to the prophets, man, because they represent that poor man. Scripture talks about the poor and the ones who are despised of this world are used to confound the mighty and the wise of this world. Lord willing, let me see if I can find it. I'll read this real fast. So I'll read it again. Then I said, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. So a poor man's wisdom is going to be despised and not heard, because a poor man's looked down in this society, man. 17. The words of a wise man are heard in quiet more than the cry. The words of a wise man are heard in quiet more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools, man, which is the wicked. Number 18. Wisdom is better than the weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. So one sinner destroyeth a lot of things, but wisdom is better than the weapons of war. So the knowledge of wisdom is better than, everything, man. When you have wisdom, that's like having money, that's like having precious golds, minerals, and high value commodities, man. So with wisdom, you have everything. That's a gift. That's a privilege. That's a gift, and that's a blessing from Yahweh Shem Yahshua, man. Not bestowed on all people, man. Only bestowed on a very few, man. But that's a gift and a privilege, man. And the gift of that is being privileged with it, man, by Yahweh Shem Yahshua, man. Let's go to see if I can find that verse. First Corinthians, start 26, 4. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. 27. But Yahweh have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and Yahweh have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty, man. So the things that are foolish in the eyes of this world to confound the wise of this world, and Yahweh have chosen the weak things of this world that are looked down at to confound the mighty of this world, man. Number 28. And base things of the world, and the base things of the world, and the things which are despised, have the Lord Yahweh chosen. So the things that are hated and despised of this world, that's what the Lord uses, man, to confound the mighty and the wise of this world, man. Because the wisdom and knowledge of this world is foolish in the eyes of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, man. Let's read 28 again. And the base things of the world and the things which are despised, Yahweh chosen. Ye and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are. So these things which are despised and hated and looked as foolish are used to bring down the things of this world that are mighty and that are wise of this world. Pretty much bring them to naught, bring them to nothing. This was just some scriptures, few relating to wisdom. And those ones who are used, the ones who are foolish in the eyes of the society and looked at and despised are those the prophets, man. The ones who are coming back to their lot, preaching on the work on the highways and byways, man. They're the true men of relating to wisdom and knowledge, man. Because the wisdom and knowledge is related to Yahweh Bashim Yashah, for he comes in the volume of the book, man. He is the book that represents Yahweh Yashah, Yahweh Bashim Yashah, man. So that's the real knowledge, not the philosophy, not the ways or the vain babblings and the ways of this world, man. So the true knowledge is through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yashah, put into the prophets, the preachers, truth and knowledge, man. Starting with the elders and apostles on down. That being said, this is something short. This relates to a few scriptures on wisdom. Shalakia. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yashah Bashim Rakakadash. This is Brother Zayah, which means wolf. I hope it helps in some way. All praise Yahweh Bashim Yashah Bashim Rakakadash. Shalom. Thanks. Appreciate it.